I didn't want to have to make this video, but in the world, what's going on right now, I just feel like it's important for me to speak out. Um, Somebody that does have a platform, somebody that, who loves being black, who is not shied away from anything about being black. I just feel like it's important if I have this type of platform to speak on it, about how I felt. I've spoken about stuff like this in the past. I've been critical of law enforcement. I've been critical of police brutality against black and brown people, especially unarmed black men. I mean, there's just no excuse. There's no excuse about why people should have to die just because they're black. And I know the stigma. You don't die because you're black. There's always an excuse when something like this happens. George Floyd. He didn't deserve to die. He died of a heart attack. And the officers did nothing to help. He was dying when he was having a heart attack. The officer put his knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes. Like, there's no way around it. That is murder. That is negligence. And honestly, it's first degree. Because to me, it wasn't an accident. When you want to kill someone, you don't do it by accident. When you're doing stuff to harm someone and he's saying, "I can't breathe," that was one of his last words, "I can't breathe," and you don't do anything about it. And the other officers who are there, and you see a man on the ground saying, "I can't breathe," and you just let it happen. Like, your moral compass wasn't like, "Oh, maybe I should help. Maybe I should step in. Maybe I should." Sitting in the house in quarantine, just watching everything happen. It's been very eye-opening to see who really cares about, this type of stuff, activism, and who doesn't. On both sides. There's black people out there who could care less. Just stay in their own lane and just do whatever they want to do. Don't care. They think it's, not all cops are bad, which is true. Not all cops are bad, but it's not the point that they're trying to make. It's not the point. The point is that it's a systemic problem that's going around in this country, going around since, my ancestors were slaves. And then you got the Caucasian people to come out all of a sudden and talk about their problems, talk about how they have dealt with racism. I've said this before. In my personal opinion, I don't think white people have experienced racism. In my opinion. Is that a controversial topic? Maybe. Have white people dealt with stuff? Absolutely. Everybody have dealt with some type of something. But personally, I feel like they haven't. They haven't dealt with racism like my people have, black people, people of color. It's just frustrating when people all of a sudden come out and say a white Christian male who's conservative has it horrible out in the country. You don't get more privilege than a white Christian male in America. They have the most power, the most wealth. They're most likely to go to college. They have it all. females, they deal with stuff all the time. But in my opinion, white males, what have you honestly dealt with besides some bad name calling or different views of opinion? Is that really, like, do you fear for your life because you're a Christian? Do you fear for your life because you're a conservative? Like, honestly, like, there are black people out there that are scared to go outside right now. Are you scared to go outside because you like our president? Or because you believe in, one gender, or all, you don't like gay people? Do you fear for your life? That's the question that we should be answering for people who combat the Black Lives Matter movement and all this stuff. Blue Lives Matter movement is a fake movement. All Lives Matter movement is a fake movement, all stemming from the Black Lives Matter movement just to draw attention away from that. If we didn't come up with the Black Lives Matter movement, there would be no, All Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. Nobody, there can't be All Lives Matter movement until Black Lives Matter. Point blank, period. That's not something that's super controversial. That's not something that's that's crazy. Because last time I checked, all includes black people. But it feels like we don't matter. A lot of people feel like black people don't matter. When they're killing unarmed teenagers, kids, people with heart conditions, problems, and then they keep people alive, like Dylan Roof. Like, come on. There's people out there who goes into schools and murders kids, and they walk away in handcuffs. Not even a black eye. Just a pat on the back. You're arrested. We're gonna take you to jail. But lo and behold, black people, go outside, gets pulled over, normal traffic stop. They may or may not did anything wrong. Get stopped, gun is drawn automatically. They fear for their life. I'm not saying this happens every time, so don't come for me, but I'm saying that it's happened too many times. I've been pulled over for nothing more times than I can count. Never gotten a ticket. It's always, son, get to where you're going. Son, get there, go home. Or turn that music down. Now, do I think that I would hope that they would stop everyone, not just the people that look like me, but I have a feeling that they just stopped me because I was in the wrong neighborhood. Because I grew up in separate households. It's not a crazy shocker. My dad lived in a more Caucasian, to say the least, side of Northwest Indiana, and my mother lived in a predominantly black side of Northwest Indiana. And I, experienced and watched people get harassed and take stuff way out of proportion just because of their color. And it's ridiculous. The school I went to, Anderson, the stuff that black kids went through there, I've experienced. Somebody was smoking weed in my dorm room, and we were all chilling in the lobby. The police officer came in. He said, we got a complaint. Somebody smoking weed. It was a group of about 30 of us, of all races. It was 5 black people. And guess who got carded? Present some identification, sir. Present some identification, sir. Complaining. Why do I have to show my identification when there's a whole group of people back there? Why'd you only ask the 5 black people? Oh, it's not a race thing. You just fit the description. What description was given? I don't smell like weed. I don't smoke weed. Why should I have to show my identification if they don't? It's just one example I can think of at the top of my head. And people say, oh, that's just the cop. It's not just the cop. He was taught that. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to teach other people that's okay. That's the problem. These people are learning this. Grew up like this. They automatically fear the black man. We're more aggressive. There's no reason why we should have the same amount of people in jail as white people. Or it shouldn't even be even close. Because Caucasian people double us. It doesn't make sense. Just make it make sense. And I've seen arguments online. The reason we're in jail because we're gang related and we're more prone to violence. Really. They're more prone to violence. We don't go to college. We're in these low income housing because that's what can we afford, because a lot of people can't afford to go to college because college is expensive. And some people didn't have the same opportunities as others. So there's a lot of people that are my age that are first generation college students because colleges are slowly becoming a little bit more affordable. Which is crazy that it's 2020 and people are finally becoming first generation college students. It's pretty crazy if you really think about it. It's just disappointing when people comment that black people are thugs. Our own president is calling us thugs. And yes, he's talking about black people. You can flip it as much as you can, but a couple weeks ago, when there was a group of protesters protesting to reopen the country, what did he call them? What did he call them? Very fine people. Just like a couple years ago when it was a riot, when the R.i.p people was running over black people, he said it was very fine people on both sides. Very fine people a couple weeks ago was protesting with guns. Guns. And recently, a lot of the protests, they don't start with guns. A lot of protests around the country, Atlanta, Minneapolis, they didn't start with guns. It's peaceful. There's been a couple of occasions where it's been reported that this is not confirmed or anything, but just witnesses saying that the looting and the burning of the buildings, it didn't start from the peaceful protests. It started from someone else that wasn't involved with the protests. Now also, the police instigate the whole situation. They don't say, oh, we're gonna let this peaceful protest happen. Let's throw tear gas on them. That'll get them riled up and angry. And when people get riled up and angry, they don't think. And when people don't think, they do Not smart things like burn down buildings, break stuff. It's a freaking target. Like, come on. Like, it's a target. Target is a multi-million-dollar company. They'll be okay. It's one target. What I'm concerned for is the small businesses. Yes, the small businesses have been affected. It's horrible. And I don't agree with the looting, but you cannot tell someone how to react to something like this. When it's your brother, cousin, sister, you never know what something like, you never know how you react to something like this. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm also not going to tell someone how to react to this. There is no right way. How someone can grieve. Colin Kaepernick was trying to do the right thing. He took a knee. Inspired others to take knees. I took a knee. Did I get in trouble for it? Got some pictures and some mumblings and some grumblings. But I was standing for what I believed in. That black and brown people, especially men of color, have been targeted. And people are afraid of them. And they're being hunted. And they're unarmed for routine traffic stops, selling CDs, living, playing with a toy in the park, walking down the street with your hood up, being hunted. That's the only way I can describe it. Kaepernick shined a light to it and sacrificed his own career. The only reason why he's not in the league right now is because he took a knee, let's be honest. There's so many quarterbacks out there who don't deserve a chance. I mean, I'm a Colts fan. Chad Kelly is on our roster. He's got time after time after time. DUIs, drug possession, violence. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have his opportunity, because, please, I believe in second chances. But Kaepernick doesn't have a drug history, was never violent towards anyone, doesn't have a DUI, he has a clean record, except for the white man don't like him. Because he took a knee and he took a stand for something that he believed in, peacefully, might I add. And NFL said no. You're a distraction. I don't care how good you are. You're not going to be in our league. Bye. See you. Prime of his career. Was his numbers going down? Yes. But was he good enough to be a starter? You know, on some teams, the 49ers team didn't want to protect him. A horrible offensive line. If you look back, the team was bad. But now he doesn't deserve any chance now? You go from being a starter to nothing? That doesn't make sense, does it? He's fit. He's proven. He can't even be a backup. Not even a training camp invite. It's more than that. Let's open your eyes, people. That's a completely different situation. I just want people to open their eyes and see what's going on in our country. And if you are an ally, which is people who aren't of color and who want to support, just learn. Actually go out and try to educate yourself. What can I do to better my country? What can I do to help? Just ask yourself that, and I guarantee you, black people won't be disrespectful to you. They won't send you astray. If they are, ask someone else. But try to educate yourself on what you can do to help. because education is the most powerful tool. Education will hopefully, I pray, will hopefully stop killing unarmed black men. Because I know I'm going to consciously teach my children that we as black people have gone through a lot. And we're going to continue to go through a lot. But that does not mean that we should just give up. That we should just stop trying to make our country equal. And they're going to know their history. And I'm going to try my best to help other kids, help other people to know the real black history. And I'm going to continue to educate myself because I'm only 22 and I don't know everything. I've learned a lot. That's the best thing that we can do right now is just educate ourselves and respect each other. Respect each other's boundaries. Respect each other's differences. But just know that I am not a thug. I'm not a gangster. I'm not any of that. I'm Alfonso Blackwood III, and I'm a black man in this country. So if you watch this, just know, hope you feel inspired, hope you feel inclined to go and educate yourself on black history. Go and educate yourself on what's really going on in our country. Don't just watch Fox News. Don't just watch CNN. Go out and ask your black professors, your black teachers, black, educators, civil rights activists, scholars. Ask someone that has some knowledge. Go read a book. Be open. Go learn something. Because what's taught in the schools is white history. Let's be honest. They kind of blink over the, civil rights movement or slavery. Ohio, they were treated well and all that stuff. And no, we were slaves and we were property. A lot of schools not teaching that we were property. And the Civil War was all about one thing, and that was slavery. It's not about nothing. That's why most black people hate the Confederate flag. You're a traitor, in my opinion, if you like the Confederacy, because the Confederacy was our enemy. Point blank, period. And when I see that flag, I think of racism. And I hope you do too. Just go educate yourselves. Care for one another. Please. I'm begging you, because I guarantee you, the more educated we are, the more deaths, the more peaceful stuff, the more equality we will have. Teach your youth real black history, please. Because they're already growing up. They're already growing up saying all types of bad stuff about culture, race, politics. It's okay for them to have an opinion, but just teach them both sides. If you felt inspired, if you felt inclined, if you learned something, please give it a like. Please comment what you think. Please share this video to everyone. But education is the biggest tool, is the biggest weapon. As black folk, there's nothing, in my opinion, that a white man fears more than an educated black man or woman. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that.